Hello, once again. This is Brother Teacher. Someone, even a couple of people, asked me this question over a period of time as to the factual possibility or the likelihood, if you will, of the martial arts Aikido master Steven Seagal ever meeting, knowing, and even fighting or sparring with the late great Bruce Lee of the martial arts. And I never responded to those questions until now. There was someone more recently that wants to know what my take is on Steven Seagal claiming that he personally knew Bruce Lee and that he trained with Bruce Lee for a period of time. Um, the length of time that is asserted, we don't know really, but for a length of time, maybe not years, but maybe less than a year. But here's what I believe and what I know. Uh, but let me preface my statements with this first. There's a lot of trash talkers out there. There are a lot of people who are trolls, a lot of people who enjoy trying to defame people who have accumulated fame, popularity, notoriety, success in various fields. And even if they haven't rose to a particular level, let's say specifically in martial arts is what we're talking about, they are at least respected and honored by many. Bruce Lee is one of those individuals. I've had people talk about me, talk trash about me, but the people that have talked trash about me or tried to demean me and my reputation and my level of accomplishment in the martial arts pales by the ones that know me and know of me. So, with that said, I want to say that I am not here to beat up on Steven Seagal. As a matter of fact, in time past, I have defended him on some level, along with many others, and not just in martial arts, but outside of the martial arts. So, here we go. Steven Seagal was born in 1952. Bruce Lee was born in 1940. So, 12 years different, approximately. When Bruce Lee died at the age of 32 in 1973, that would have made Steven Seagal, during the time that Bruce Lee died, it would have made Steven Seagal 21 years old. So Bruce Lee's 32 when he died, and the living Steven Seagal was 21. 32 versus 21. What could Steven Seagal have possibly done to teach Bruce Lee anything at the age of 21? And Bruce Lee's 12 years older than him. Fully mature, at the peak of his skill, at the peak of his career, the most fit, seemingly, human being, the most physically strong and physically fast and physical uh, exponent of the martial science, Bruce Lee was at the age of 32. What in the world could Steven Seagal have shared with or taught Bruce Lee? He was not even a master in Aikido yet. He touts that he trained with Bruce Lee and he believes that Bruce may have learned some things from him. I don't think so. All of Bruce Lee's learning for the most part, where it mattered, occurred before he died at the age of 32. That's really it. He had already amassed a wealth of knowledge and skill in studying Wing Chun, boxing, Sabat, Filipino martial arts, other forms of Kung Fu, and the list goes on. Before he died, Into the Dragon was his crowning glory. If you look at Into the Dragon, I've said this before, the fight scene in the tunnel, the fight scenes, period, throughout the whole film, par excellence. It would have been very, very rare for most people that we know of today in modern martial arts circles to have handled Bruce Lee when Bruce Lee was in his prime. I'm not going to go any further than that. You already know. So he said this. Now, there was a statement that Steven Seagal made in an interview about Bruce Lee bad mouthing in a comical sort of way, a lighthearted sort of a way, other martial artists and masters. That never happened. I love Steven Seagal. I do. I believe he's very good at what he does. But Bruce Lee has never bad-mouthed any martial arts master or martial artist. That's not who he was. And I'm sure that I would have as my witness, and I wasn't a fly on the wall, his daughter Shannon, his past wife Linda Lee Cadwell, his senior student Dan Inosanto, and everyone else that's still living, and even those who have passed, Ted Wong and so forth, Taki Kimura, they would have told you the same thing. He had never put any other martial arts master or martial artist down. Never did that. Instead, what he did and or would have done was, if someone were to challenge him, he wouldn't call them out of their name. He wouldn't go for bad. He would just say, would you like to work out? Would you like to spar? So what Bruce Lee would have done again, you want to spar? Would you like to work out? That was his kind way of allowing you to test out your skill. And because of the type of individual that he was as it related to his spirituality and his dedication to his art, you would have been in for a surprise, because Bruce Lee was a martial artist through and through. And many people feared his level of skill because many people didn't train like Bruce Lee trained. So, for anyone during that time to say that they taught Bruce Lee how to kick high, like Chuck Norris lied and said he did, he never did that. Because Bruce Lee kicked high before he even knew Chuck Norris. And you can find evidence of that in The Green Hornet, when he played Kato, before he knew Chuck Norris as a friend. You can find that to be true in Marlowe, the TV show with James Garner, when Bruce Lee played the thug and he jumped up and he kicked the light in the ceiling. Bruce Lee was kicking high already. But anyway, enough of that. I don't believe that Bruce Lee ever demeaned or tried to degrade any other martial arts master or martial artist, period. Bruce Lee allowed people to test him for his own self-worth. You want to spar with me? That's fine, let's spar. And the proof would have been in the pudding. That simple. So, Chuck Norris, not him, but Steven Seagal also made the statement that he lived in Asia. and he made the statement that he had a son, and his son was around the same age as Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, was. Now, let me tell you this. Brandon Lee was born in 1965. When Bruce Lee died, Brandon was about 8 years old. Now, when Bruce Lee died, Brandon is 8 years old, his son, and Steven Seagal is 21 years old. How old would Steven Seagal's son have had to be the same age as Bruce Lee's son, Brandon? So if Steven Seagal is 21 when Bruce Lee died, and Brandon Lee is 8, Steven Seagal had to have had a child 4 or 5 years before that, and Brandon and his son would have been around 5 years old. I don't buy that. I'm sorry. You can think about it. I'm not going to get a headache about it, but I don't believe that. So, people can call Steven Seagal a liar. I'm not going to call him a liar. People can say that he twists the truth for whatever reasons. I'm not going to say that either, but I will say this. Math doesn't lie. Numbers don't lie. Decide for yourself. So this is my conclusion. The things that Steven Seagal asserted about Bruce Lee, his relationship with Bruce Lee, sparring and so forth, and them knowing one another, and then him bad-mouthing other martial artists, and also having a child Bruce Lee's son's age during that time, I don't believe. That was it. But I still respect Steven Seagal as a martial artist. Let me know what your comments are about this particular subject. Comment section below. Look forward to hearing from you. This is Brother Teacher. I'm out.